Good afternoon, and welcome to another Super Secret Project sketch. This is Eric Whalen from Super Secret Project X. And today it has just been a bit of a day already. Okay.
Well, actually, it's been a nice day. It was just the last hour was pointlessly
The last
unnecessary.
12 minutes, more accurately.
Pretty much unnecessary, and
I don't understand why streaming technology is so easy most of the time, and then when it falls apart completely. All right, so with that bit of complaining out of the way, I'm not a fan of technology failing, if you haven't guessed. Today we're going to do one of my favorite characters, and for whatever reason, I can't seem to nail most male characters right unless they're really cartoony, and I can't figure out why that is. I can't get any of the JoJo characters right, I can't get Space Ghost right, and I highly suspect I'm going to have a problem with Thundar, and I don't know why I think that. I just seem to be able to nail female characters better. Probably because I spent most of my teenage years only drawing female characters, but that aside.
you can't nail the male characters because you wanted to nail the female characters.
Wow, yeah, I know. Got some goofers going on there. Okay. Goofers. Alright, so I'm going to do the thing and see if I can get the thing done. So to say. Alright, there we go. Alright, I did normal last time. That's right.
Yep.
Whoop, whoop. Alright. Alright, that thing there. That thing there. Technical issues behind me. I swear I need to put two eyeballs right next to that camera so I can easily look at it every single
That's we have all the one other camera, right? We got the.
time. It works. That's why. It works really well.
Well, I'll set up a little stand for you, like just two googly eyes right behind the computer there. So.
Alright. Ooh, let's see if I can get Thundar done did. Okay. Gonna start with a meat block like shape for his head. I like Thundar, but he's a bit of a knucklehead.
In the year 1994.
The knucklehead came flying between the earth and the moon. Behold, Thundar was born. Or something like that. Anywho, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at his major facial features, and the dude just has cheekbones. I mean, like, really significant cheekbones, and they really make a big deal about going from the cheekbones down to the chin on him. So I'm going to kind of see if I can nail roughly that shape.
Yeah,
I don't have to talk about it because honestly, the male figures, for whatever reason, unless they're like my characters, I just don't seem to ever do them right.
Well, you do pretty well for the most part. A lot
Well,
of them.
on the cartoony ones I do, but not on the more like JoJo's or Thundar. On like Ariel, I can do Princess Ariel all day because I can do Princess Ariel all day. But
I'll check up on that.
whoop whoop. Okay. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to try to just roughly get quick general shapes in so I can figure him out. Okay, I'm seeing a triangle about there. Yeah, man, do I love Thundar. It's funny, I actually, in many ways, I love almost everything more than him. But nothing would work without him.
Of course.
You know, like Ariel. No, I know I put that. Ukla is okay. He was my favorite when I was a little kid. But now it's just like Ariel, Thundar, Ukla. Because Ariel is funny, just funny as hell. I mean, she's great. Plus, she's like way hotter than she should be. Thundar, on the other hand, it's funny. I'm actually here. Check this out. There's a lot of great facial expressions here for Thundar, and he does like only 2 or 3 of them in the show. I would actually like, he's got an ooh one here that's actually kind of funny. He's got this actually really charming smile that I think is actually really nice. And couple of these are actually closer to like this is actually I don't think we actually really see this, but we see more like these three over here. And he's just sort of charming. I guess you can kind of see that in the show.
There's another page on the next page too. There's a bunch of other more sketches of him too.
I'm gonna look real quick. Oh yeah, no, and there's a couple expressions you rarely see too, and I'm gonna have to study that page of Ariel right there because that was a little more than I was used to seeing. Like they actually kind of did like pinup girl shots. I was like, oh. Back to that one later. I should be studying this book more. What? I'm not trying to be creepy. I'm just saying she's hot. What she is. Strangely, like you look at most characters and you go, okay, she's supposed to be attractive, blah blah blah. You look at her and you're like, those animators were lonely when they were doing her sequences. You're like,
or Alex Toth knew what he was doing.
well, Alex Toth just knew how to draw. I mean, he did original Black Canary, if I remember correctly. He really did sexy girls.
Yeah,
Not all the time, but
the documentary that was. I actually want to rewatch that because unfortunately we were watching it late at night. And
yeah,
I fell asleep
I didn't
on
think
that.
it was going to be so heavy as it was.
Yeah, it was heavy and it was long, and
Yeah. I thought it was just going to be like quick and fun, you know.
Yeah, I actually want to see that again because they went into like super deep with a lot of the stuff on there.
And sad too. I had no idea Alex Toth's later life was just kind of so awful.
It was kind of almost a thing for a lot of popular animators and character designers back in that day. For some bizarre reason, they just got treated like crap. Another good example of that is Wally Woods, who did a lot of the EC comic stuff and a lot of his stuff was absolutely just beautiful. He was like in the same area with a lot of those guys and stuff with Toth and all that. And from what I remember, when he died, he was so bitter because he went from being this just bright-eyed, I'm going to change the world with my art kind of guy to just they treated him like crap and ran him through the.
You know, that's kind of the artist's position, unfortunately, is historically being like held up on a pedestal while they throw crap at them.
Yeah, and he actually did a comic that basically told them off, told the various higher ups and all that exactly how he felt about what they did to him, and I can't remember. I gotta look it up again because I don't want to speak. I don't want to misspeak his death or anything. But I know he died pretty horribly. Just kind of broke, and I know it's a lot of his stuff. To add insult to injury, a lot of his personal collection got lost during a big fire. So a lot of the stuff that we would have seen and that would have been in museums basically got destroyed out of this fire, and only a few of his originals got saved by one of his good friends or somebody. But yeah, it was kind of sad. But yeah, that seemed to be a common thing with a lot of those artists of that time.
Which is weird because like early on, it was Alex Toth basically said, no, Hanna-Barbera not only treated him really well, they paid him really, really well. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of seems like Hanna-Barbera seemed to kind of be the place like where he was really, even though his comic book work and his early stuff might have been more serious, it looks like he was having mostly a good time at Hanna-Barbera, including when he would like leave for whatever reason, and then they would just beg to get him back.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but he was definitely one of the more successful ones that.
Well, he was so good.
Yeah, that contributed to a lot of their stuff there. And
it's actually funny. I was kind of going like, man, I'd sure like to learn how to draw more like him, and then everything they're describing about how he did stuff is the absolute opposite of how I do everything. I was going like, oh, well, I suck. Yeah, because he was doing stuff like just drawing things out of pen straight.
Oh yeah.
Just neat, done. And I'm going like, I can't even get I can I can do a little bit of that, but not like what I was seeing. I was just going like, that dude was good.
His ink work was absolutely incredible.
Well, he was just able to do so much with so little, and it's just not a skill, unfortunately, that I'm good at. I have a tendency of wanting to structure everything and understand. The thing is I'm not saying he didn't draw with three-dimensionality in his head. He clearly did, but I just do it so differently that I just kind of end up going like, man, you kind of look at a modern master like that, and I kind of look at my stuff and go like, oh, I'm good, but I just don't compare. I just don't. And it's like, oh well, I'll do what I can for what I can do. But I was like watching his stuff, going like, yeah, that makes you feel small really quick.
Well, you do in a different way, and
In a not as good way.
you have your plus and minuses.
Yeah, that's
No
true.
pluses.
I'm just saying, when you look at somebody like that, then you compare your own stuff to it, you just go like, oh. And you're kind of seeing like similarities in some ways, but like genius in others, going like, oh, okay, wow, that's a hell of a thing he's doing. That's not too bad. The one thing is funny because I can't imagine Thundar in any other way than with the hair he has, but he kind of has this goofy, almost sci-fi cut because it has like a V cut in the background and it's not very barbarian-like, and he has like these funny bangs on the front, which doesn't really look ha-ha funny, but when you really think about it, you're like, does he have a stylist? You're kind of going like, is like Ookla cutting his hair or something? You're just like,
Well, they're doing the future equivalent of like the bowl cut,
yeah, it's sort of like Thundar's bowl cut, yeah.
Either that or again the page boy cut, which was for whatever reason was popular with barbarian stuff of the time, even from like the 50s and 60s up until the 80s with Thundar and all that. Whatever that weird bowl like page boy cut thing was.
Yeah.
I never really cared for that style, but.
Well, I think that style is like cute on some girls. I don't think it looks good on guys at all.
It's funny because it's a page boy.
That's what I'm saying. Is I go like, I think it looks cute on some girls. I don't think I've ever seen a dude that a page boy cut looks good on.
Well, on little boys it does, because that's what a page boy is.
Okay, I guess I'm just not looking at little boys. So when they put it on like a big muscly barbarian dude, I think I just get confused. I guess it's maybe why it looks good on girls, because it is kind of a slightly effeminate shortcut, even if it is for boys.
See, to me, I always thought it was weird, because if you're a barbarian, the only reason I can see is if you cutting your hair was, of course, to keep it out of your face so you don't get
Sure.
distracted by fighting and all that. But I'm always been of the opinion of like long hair. I mean, you're a barbarian. You keep that stuff and you pull it back and just let it fly.
Yeah. Well, even if that doesn't make sense, like artistically long hair is great.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could totally see why ancient warriors would like pull their hair back or shave their hair off entirely. And you can see logically why that would happen. But like artistically speaking, it's like, no, it's kind of symbolic of wildness and stuff. And
That's why I like it.
yeah, I mean, and me too, you know.
Yeah, it's like with him.
Now here's this weird thing his hair does. Splits down the middle, which is not going to look terrible, but it just doesn't look very wild. And then it has like a cut.
Yeah, that weird part.
Yeah, like I never quite understood it. Like when he's moving around and flying, you know, and jumping, you don't notice it. But then when he's like sitting still, you're like, the heck is with his hair? Okay, let's see here. There.
I've seen, well, the sort of real life interpretation, just like when your part naturally is in the middle of your head and your hair grows out and goes to the sides and stuff like that. I've sort of seen that, and of course they caricaturized it as much as they could. They characterized it. But yeah, that's one of those I just never really cared for that particular hairstyle. And that He-Man had it.
Yeah, He-Man was goofy, and I say that respectfully. He-Man was goofy and stylized, and he had a guy with spring legs that rammed his head into things. I mean, it was a goofy show. So you kind of go like you could kind of forgive a couple goofy things like He-Man's hair, and then you're like, okay, he comes from a royal prince, blah blah blah. Okay, but with Thundar's like way more badass than He-Man. And no offense to He-Man fans, but Thundar is at least twice the badass level, bare minimum. I mean, bare minimum. And he has like a page boy cut. You're like, Thundar, what's up with that? Oh, my girlfriend likes it. Oh, okay. Is she hot? Oh, yeah.
To be fair, is also coming from like Conan because he had almost the same kind of hairstyle too. So
Conan? Conan had long hair.
There's sometimes some of his hair was sort of medium, and sometimes it was page boyish and.
Okay, you're gonna have to show that to me because I don't recall ever seeing Conan like that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm not visualizing that at all. Now there are times where he had it pulled back, or he had like those like head things on to keep the the barbarian bear fur crown thing, whatever the heck that was. Which is awesome, I'm not judging. I'm just saying I'm not.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, yeah, the Arnie ones, yeah, he had the headband and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's where I remember his hair being not necessarily long in the way of being visible, but to my recollection, he had long hair.
Yeah, I think we both were right because it was always his hair was long, but it was this weird, like, cut. It's like in the movie James Earl Jones's character that wig that he had.
Thulsa Doom.
Yeah, that's what his hair looked like in the comics.
Well, even in the comics that I recall for Conan, yeah, as I said, remembering long hair.
That's what I'm saying. I said we both were right.
Yeah.
Because his hair was long, or medium long.
Well, you were saying
and
that Conan though had a page boy cut.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not remembering those.
The front versus the back. Look at the front,
Okay.
which was a page boy cut, and then it's long in the back. I'm saying it has that cut bang thing.
Oh no. Okay, yes. Okay, when I think page boy, I just don't think there's anything really too long. Like this is only about, neck. That's like lower than collarbone. So, yes. Okay, yes. I'm thinking something different.
Here, page boy haircut, specifically.
Yeah, see, I don't look at that and think Conan the Barbarian. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm saying with the front of his hair had that straight line cut with his bangs, and then everything else was comic wise. Everything else was kind of long to medium.
Okay, well, I'm thinking Conan the Barbarian the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking the comic books.
See, I think that's where we're different.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm going like, I don't remember Arnie ever having a page boy cut. I'm sorry.
Well, my first exposure to Conan was through the comics. And my
Okay.
dad had comics and stuff, so that's why I remember.
Well, that's fine. That's just not what I'm talking about.
Excuse me.
Actually, this isn't too bad. Just kind of worried.
It's looking pretty decent.
Yeah, it's not bad. Let's see if I can.
Ooh, we had at least 2 people watching us on YouTube. Now we're down to 1 person watching.
No, that's one, and then yours, 2.
On YouTube? I mean, not YouTube.
Yeah.
Facebook, not Twitch.
Yeah, because weren't you checking it on Facebook?
Yeah, it's on Facebook now. We had.
Yeah, that's my point. That's the viewer right there, you.
Yeah, I'm one. Yeah.
And that's the other. Those are 2 separate viewers. Currently, no one is watching us.
No. because when it.
Okay, if you're watching us, message us so we know.
And when
So I can win this fight.
Because when it pops up, when I have it on Facebook, it shows, because I'm watching it through Facebook, so it shows 1. And then when another person watches, it shows 2, which it just pops up to 2 again. So there's another person watching on Facebook at least.
Well, here's the upside to our technical difficulties this morning. We have had no streaming problems so far. So whatever optimization that our streaming software did that screwed everything up for the last couple times, gave us all those problems, is gone.
Yeah, I mean, there's no jerkiness, there's no shuddering
Yeah.
with the...
It was like, yeah, here's the optimal settings. I'm like, no, I'm not trusting you ever again. Those are not optimal settings. Don't give me that. Okay, boom. All right, I'm going to clean some of this out because now I'm just fighting lines. Please let this turn out. I want to have one of my time-lapse sketches have a dude on it for once. Even though, like, nobody cares about the male characters, like, on Pinterest, but I don't care. Dang it. Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, I remember Thundar, first watching that, and I think I caught... Geez, what? I don't think I caught the beginning, because the initial ones were like 1980.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Beginning of 80. And yeah, I think I probably caught the reruns of it because that's when my family moved from one state to another. We actually moved in 81, from either 81 or 82. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, I remember sitting down and watching Thundar, and it was one of those ones where initially I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. Thought it was neat.
Oh, I loved it as a kid.
Yeah.
I really, that was like, when that came on, I was always just like jazzed.
Yeah, it caught my attention more than a lot of the other stuff that was on at the time for Saturday morning. So, I mean, CBS, because it came on, CBS was the channel for that one, if I remember. Or was it ABC?
I want to say CBS.
Yeah, I want to say CBS also.
So I think that's what you correct me to when we did the beef cast.
Yes.
Which,
yes,
by
yes.
the way, if you guys are interested, check out the beef cast on Retro Pop Gaming on YouTube. We are currently talking about Thundar, so
Yes.
keep going, sweetie. Keep do your thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little warm.
I think I'm getting a bit of a sugar loaf. It's hard to keep focused with that, and I haven't been able to properly focus because I've just been tired for whatever reason.
It's been a warm summer so far. It is summer, right?
Yes.
Good.
We're in the middle of it right now.
I can't ever tell where the seasons are anymore. It's like it's snowing outside. Is it fall? I have no idea.
At least it's not as warm as it was on the West Coast. So, you West
just
Coast
here's a
people,
nightmare
you
over
guys,
there.
You guys have our sympathies. That's brutal, man. Yeah, Thundar. Yeah, like I said, it caught my attention most of the time that I watch it. And I think when I was in elementary school, we even played Thundar. Like me and a couple of friends. Of course, I was always Ariel, which I didn't mind because Ariel was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But
Let's keep saying that. She's hot. Try not to be like a creepy old guy. I'm just saying, when you compare characters from that time period, all the hottest ones were on like He-Man and Thundar. And they didn't mind actually drawing them like pinup girls with curves and everything. So I was like, there's just these shots in Thunder where I'm just going like, pause, wow, play.
Well, like with He-Man also, when we were watching the Toys That Made Us, and they were showing the guy, which I always kick myself because I can never remember the character designer for that show.
I have his face in my head, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, same here. He would always talk about drawing Tila and drawing the sorceress and the various other female characters in there. And he would just get this little glint and smile on his face when he would talk about drawing Tila. And
Look, if I got to draw that stuff at work, I'd get a little glint in my eye too.
And the one shot that he, and I even as a little kid, I noticed this shot.
Is it the land shot where her butt
It
goes
just kinda
right
just
into the
bounces
screen?
into the- yeah.
Oh
And
yeah, I always loved that shot.
Even as a little kid, I was just like, hey, something peculiar about this.
God bless America.
God bless Eternia.
Here, man. And the buttocks of the universe. Here, man. The great thing about what I just said there is like all the people that are into chicks are like, yeah, and all the people that are into beefy dudes are like, yeah. It's an equal opportunity, yeah.
Meanwhile, all the people were into like the scrawny boys. Oh.
Well, that's a fair thing to say. But He-Man is not the show to, or Thundar is not the show to go to for scrawny anything. No, I take that back. There's the one blonde in Thundar, but she's like 14 or something.
That doesn't count, no.
Wearing like a potato sack or whatever that is.
And there was the new Thundar. I say Thundar. May there be a new Thundar show at some point, please?
Well,
But
only if it's done right.
Yeah, the new He-Man that's supposed to be coming out. Actually, I want to say it's next week, or either next week or the end of this month. It should be coming out. Looks fantastic. I watched the latest trailer from
Yeah,
it.
I actually didn't watch it on purpose. I'm like, I'm just gonna watch the show. I don't want any spoilers.
Yeah, I wanted to see the non-fantastical, which this trailer was still good and fantastical and it's all right, but it wasn't the what we got where we're just like, holy crap! I need a hero trailer. That was.
I need a hero. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was fun.
Yeah,
That was a smartly made trailer.
It was, and so I wanted to see something a bit more to give a bit more where we're going with it, what's the story, which they gave a little bit. And I was like, okay, it still looks good. Still gonna watch it. You still have my interest. Got it even more now. Yeah, it looks like they did a lot of good work with this, and I hope they can keep up the energy and the spirit of it, because they said it's a continuation from the original show. So I'm like, okay, sweet. Yeah, bring it on. Which also the one news that I told you earlier in the week, where the company who does the toys that made us, speaking of them, they are planning on a reboot for Silverhawks. And I'm like, okay, this could either be really, really cool or not.
Well, I think there's a reason why Silverhawks is not as famous as Thundercats. It was an okay show, but I had rewatched some stuff a couple years back for that, and I was kind of going like, oh, this is fun, but it just didn't really catch me. Like, I just don't feel like I'm going to go out of my way to watch Silverhawks.
Oh, see, I was the exact opposite. I love Silverhawks.
I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, it definitely had some cool stuff in it. It just wasn't one of the ones that really caught me.
It was just funny because I like Thundercats. I like Silverhawks. When it came down to either or, I think because there were less episodes of Silverhawks, I would try and watch them more because I wanted to see if there's anything that I had missed, because it didn't play as much as Thundercats did. And so I was like,
That's
okay,
true.
I want to see the episodes of Silverhawks because I've already seen pretty much the majority of Thundercats. Yeah, like I said, I love me some Thundercats and I love Silverhawks. I like the design of the suits, and
It had nice designs.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it was a bad show.
as a little kid, I knew it was impossible, but I love the how the metal bodies, when they connected to their heads and stuff, how they would do the pull down of their face shield.
Oh yeah, no, it's
I
got some
adored
neat stuff.
that. I wanted that technology as a little kid, and even like some of the stuff that I drew when I was younger, I ripped off that design because I loved it. That was just so sweet. And I still think it's one of my favorite. I want to say futuristic techno armor designs. It's still one of my favorite ones to this day. But yeah, if they do it right, I'm all for it.
Well, I think to me, like, I liked the idea of, like, because I remember the first time I saw the first episode with Monstar and the space squid, and I mean, there was stuff in it that was just like, this is really fun.
Oh, we got some comments. Hold up on Facebook.
Oh, do we? We have
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
I can't see anything from Facebook
Yeah,
on here,
and-
so I apologize,
Yeah,
Facebook.
and Facebook isn't showing me comments, unfortunately. Hey Corey, how's it going? Hey man. he came in on he's talking about the Silverhawks thing. Yes, partly mental, partly real. Silverhawks.
Yeah, I think the thing that, okay, and this is nothing against cowboy characters, because I think there's some good cowboy characters. What was it?
Bluegrass.
Bluegrass. I was about to say bluegrass. I did not like that. I was just like, why is he singing? I mean, like, as a little kid, and I liked ridiculous, silly, but I was just going like, really? Like, it just, for whatever reason, I just did not like that
you
character.
never really liked singing things in the first place when it came to.
I think it's cheap. That's me. I realize that's me. It just that sort of stuff typically feels cheap. Like, I don't know what else to do, so let's sing a song so everyone can kind of go, and I'm just like, I'm not against music and stuff. I'm not against singing, but usually it just feels cheap to me.
Corey says bluegrass is so silly he works.
Okay, no, maybe you're right. Maybe I need to rewatch it. That's just, 'cause I was a dumb, snotty kid. So
Yeah, I think out of all of them, I didn't really. Strange enough, I liked Copper Kid, but I didn't care for him too much.
I even liked Copper Kid more than Bluegrass, and I didn't care for him much.
I think with Copper Kid, I didn't like his design. I didn't like the way his head, the PC swirl
I
thing.
liked the coloration
I
though,
love
and the
color.
general thing going on with him, but the head was goofy.
Yeah, because I still have his action figure, mind you. That and the way he spoke, he did the whistle, not the whistle, but the it was almost like he was speaking through a monotone harmonica, which was kind of cool, but on the same note, it's kind of.
I'm actually not clearly remembering
Yeah,
this.
he didn't
I'm
actually.
generally remembering this, but
Yeah, he would speak, but he would speak in this weird, just electronic voice. Imagine a.
see, now that sounds like something I would have really dug as a kid. Because that's the kind of, I love the Cylons and all that.
Yeah, I'll have to pull up a clip for you because it was like I said, it was like he was speaking through a harmonica. Because I think he would like put his.
Awesome.
It was like a monotone electronic harmonica, and I think he would put like his fingers up to his mouth, or I don't know if he would speak through something. I can't remember. But yeah, that was just kind of. Yeah, it was kind of a like hate, or I shouldn't say like hate, but a like kind of take it or leave it with Copper Kid. Yeah, like I love his color, like you said. I love the design. I love Stillwill and Steelheart, the twins. I like them.
I think those were the two I might have liked the most.
Yeah, and then
What? No commentary on Hot Wing?
we ain't gonna talk about. Yeah, you know what? Yes, we are gonna talk about Hot Wing. Getting blasted. The one black character
And blue cheese.
in the entire show, and they name him Hot Wing. I'm like, really? Even as a little kid, I was like, that's sus, man. No.
You know, the funny thing is somebody like at the studio wasn't thinking, and they're like, we gotta come up with something. He's like, what should we call him? And one guy goes like, Hot Wing! Hot Wing! They're like, what? Hot Wing. It's like, oh, well, he's kind of a sexy guy. I guess we could call him Hot Wing. And then like there's the one black guy in the back going like, no! No! Don't call him Hot Wing.
And his hawk chitlins, no, I was kidding. But his
hawk chitlins.
there's the one archives, the Thundercats / Silverhawks deleted scenes archive with have them in, like all the voice actors, and they're doing their various going offs or saying bad lines and all that.
Oh yes.
And there's one with his voice, with a Hot Wings voice actor, and he's just going off.
I generally remember that.
Yeah, and his voice was already kind of weird sounding in the first place, and him going off, it sounded like it sounded like blaxploitation helium Because dude was just.
Blaxploitation on helium. Wonderful.
Corey says, okay, he says, he liked Hot Wing. Yeah, I liked him too, but again, it was for me. It was a take or leave because he only appeared like a few times throughout the series. So, I liked his design. I liked the because Silverhawks when they don't have their shields down, they like part of their arm is usually exposed or something along with their face, and then when they go full armor, their entire body gets covered. And so with Hot Wing, he had like this he had gold armor, and then he kind of had like a red flame that came down on his wrist, and then
I was about to say, I just remember the red part. I don't remember the gold.
Yeah, I'll show you because I have the.
I'm not the biggest Silverhawks aficionado, so I feel like, was it? All right, sounds good to me.
Yeah, I had Copper Kid and the Hot Wing figure, so Corey
What?
says
None of the white characters.
no. Well, to be fair, Copper Kid's face he did have his face was white, or his skin was white.
Oh, it's okay. You don't need to save my feelings.
Okay, I'm not. But anyway. Corey says, what was his uncle's name? Harold's Chicken.
Oh. And his sidekick, Roscoe.
Jones barbecue and foot massage.
Oh, God, I love that. Oh. Barbecue and foot massage, Jones. Saw that.
I love that clip. And I love the fact that they overlaid it with the smooth beat. And I can't remember the sample. I'm blanking on the sample it came from. But man, that was a great little thing to do. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, the Silverhawks. Yep.
And the one that few people remember, Tiger Sharks. I barely saw any Tiger
I
Sharks, but I
love
remembered
Tiger
really
Sharks.
enjoying it.
Yeah, Tiger Shark was. I love that one.
I think I only remember seeing like 4 or 5 episodes.
I think that's all they had,
I was
honestly.
about to say, because it was on, in my area, was on.
It was on Fox. Should have been on Fox.
It was played with a bunch of other cartoons.
Yeah, the comic strip.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, the comic strip.
Yeah.
And they always just kept freaking playing Camp Minimon. Yeah.
Sorry, Jason.
No, I know you love that show, Jason, but I despise it. And not because it was necessarily a bad show. Because I kept wanting to watch Tiger Sharks, and they kept playing that over and over, and I just kept getting madder and madder. I had problems as a kid.
Well, I understand, because I wanted to see Tiger Sharks, and I wanted to see Karate Cat. Camp Minimon and Street Frogs. Street Frogs were alright. Camp Minimon I just didn't really care too much for. But it was always Camp Minimon or Street Frogs that was always on, and it was like a rare treat that I'd get to see Tiger Sharks. And then Karate Cat, it was probably more regular than Tiger Sharks.
Yeah, Tiger Sharks almost never came on. They did just enough to tease you and make you mad.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna have to look up and see how many episodes did they make of that show, and that maybe that's why they only played, or we only saw them because they just didn't make very many or so. Excuse me.
It's okay. Jones barbecue and foot massage. Jones barbecue and foot massage. I tell you what, if I could go to a place to get barbecue and get my foot massaged, I might just do it.
I love the dinosaurs that were the mascots that were just like on the sides of the guy, just doing the line kick.
Jones.
Yeah, but Tiger Sharks. It was a neat idea, and the animation was.
I remember the animation being decent.
Yeah, it was okay. There were parts where it did kind of drop
Well,
at times.
it was probably like Thundercats were like the first, I don't know, 8 or 10 episodes was really good.
They
I
spent
mean,
the money on
really
books.
good animation. Beautifully done. Like Mumra had all the warts and stuff. It was great. And then all of a sudden, it just dropped through the floor, and it was like intern day at the studio.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I only wanted to watch Tiger Sharks. Didn't even care about the other shows. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what it kept ticking me off about. And it was mostly Camp Minimum because that was the one in my area they played the most. And it's like nothing probably really against the show other than I didn't want to be watching that. They just kept teasing me with Tiger Sharks.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember I would sit up and because I'd watch it and I'd wait for it to come on, and I think either before or after it would come, the comic strip would come on, was Tracy Ullman, and that's when they had the Simpsons shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the first time I had saw the Simpsons and stuff with that too. And so I'd laugh at that and then be like, okay, the comic strip's coming on, and I would base my morning on whether or not
They
Tiger
played
Sharks
Tracy Ullman in the morning?
well, at least the Simpsons shorts.
Oh.
I think they probably took some of the clips from those and just
Okay.
put them in
They
between
didn't do that in
shows.
my area at all.
Yeah, the Fox network that I grew up with was actually pretty decent for a lot of shows.
Well,
Like
Fox back then used to be really awesome.
Well, Fox was just a local subsidiary, wasn't it?
They were still
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, they were. It definitely wasn't what we have now. But the local, at least our local Fox station, had a lot of really good shows, and they played the majority of the cartoons throughout the week, and then of course there was the Saturday morning cartoons and stuff. But yeah, like they were the ones that I would watch. I think a lot of the Disney shows, because in the mornings, no, in the afternoons, there was a children's show called Happy's Place. This is in my local area.
I don't think I remember that.
No, it was only locals.
It was
like,
okay. Keep going.
Yeah, it was Happy the Hobo, hosted by Happy the Hobo. It was like a Bozo the Clown show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he would play cartoons and stuff on the show. It was like an hour and a half long, coming on 3:30 and end at 5. And it's like kids can come on there and you can like play games and watch cartoons and be entertained by him. And then from there, he had a little puppet that he would talk to named Froggy. And so from there, Froggy got his own show in the morning. So it was Happy in the afternoons, Frog in the mornings, and they would both show cartoons before and after school, which was awesome.
Nice.
And so that's where like I would see a lot of the like Thundercats and Silverhawks in the mornings, and the afternoons to come home and watch stuff like what was some of the shows that he would put on? Oh man, I am blanking on some of the cartoons I picked up. Wow. Oh, like stuff like Tiny Toons and all that. Like G.I. Joe would come on right before then, and Tiny Toons and Animaniacs. That was later on, no, way later on. Yeah, but yeah. Yes, I'd get the cartoon fix before school, and then after I come home, and like, no, do your homework first. See, Corey says, I'm still mad at WGN for never showing the last episode of Brave Star.
Nice.
I never watched Brave Star. I can't say I watched it.
I watched some. I really enjoyed, but I didn't see a ton, but I really enjoyed what I saw. But for whatever reason, you just reminded me, okay, so one of the cartoons I really loved when I was very young, roughly the same time period as Thundar, was the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I watched a ton of it. I really liked that show. And I think it was just the whole setup, everything about it was perfect for my age. And so, I got blah, 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 got through it, but I discovered years later when I just turned on the TV, and do not ask me why, they were playing the last episode of Dungeons and Dragons. Out of nowhere. I don't even think they played anything else. I was like, what is this? And I'm like, wait, what? And the characters are beating the living tar out of Venger. I mean, I'm literally watching this going like, wait a minute. This series had an end to it? It just didn't do the 80s thing where they just kind of had a quest but never got there? I was like, oh, I feel like I may need to go back and rewatch some Dungeons and Dragons and see if I can see the whole thing. And then I'm like, oh, I know for a fact Thundar got canceled before they really did anything like that. But
Yeah.
though they did defeat Gemini eventually, which was nice. But it's not like the show really had like a specific exact plot like Dungeons and Dragons did, where it was like they're trying to get home. I was kind of like, man, I kind of wish when I was a kid I could have seen finishing stuff.
Let's see.
But Brave Star, yeah, I love that because what was the horse's name? 3030?
I don't remember.
Okay, he had a horse, but actually I hate to say this because he was a fun character, but I loved the horse because he'd ride in on the horse, and then the horse would do like a, and they'd stand up and it was like an anthro horse with like a shotgun. And it was like just this big bulk. He was I loved him. I was like, it's a beast, dude. Grandma, bring me some ice cream, I shall feast while watching. I could have sworn his name was 3030 or 2020. It was I guess it was like a gun name or something. Yeah, I'm so manly. I get it. But yeah, no, that was another show I never got to see enough of. I remember loving it as a kid. But like so much stuff came on and then went off in my area, and
I remember seeing Brave Star. I think I would like go watch something else.
Yeah, that was one of the times I thought the cowboy thing worked.
I think because Brave Star was also CBS, so I wasn't watching Ninja Turtles at that time.
I don't think Ninja Turtles was not out at that time. Oh, not that I'm aware of, at least. I think Brave Star was early 80s.
I thought it was mid to like late 80s.
At latest, it was mid. Okay, maybe it was mid, not early, but I doubt it was late.
I'm currently ordering dinner. Keep talking.
That's okay. You order our Mexican food, sweetie.
I had the order set up on the tablet here, and I was like, wait, I can't go away from the tablet because that'll take away our stream. So I'm like, oh, gotta find the other tablet.
Just that head a little bit. Yeah, that's going out a little too far. Okay. Not too bad. I think I can do better, but I think it's closer than my Space Ghost attempts have been, so yay. Oh. Alright. I'm not sure who I coupled up with Thundar. No one surprised me. We will find out next week who ends up on this page. Lip locking with this brute. Woo! That'd be a harrowing kiss. Where did there it is. That's what I get for not straightening out the table when I start. All right. Everyone have yourself a good week. We will